simply waived Dewanna Bonner. I gotta say, I'm very, very surprised at the decision to simply waive her, but I guess because she had an unprotected contract, and that protects them and allows them to cut her. So they have waived Dewanna Bonner. And guess what? Ari McDonald is back in the picture. They have re-signed the speed racer, pesky point guard who was doing so much in those 4 or 5 games that she played for the Indiana Fever while Caitlin Clark was out on the mend.
Something is brewing in Indiana, and it's not just drama. It's a full-blown storm shaking the very core of the Fever franchise. When head coach Stephanie White finally broke her silence, it wasn't business as usual. It was a shockwave. From the unexpected waiver involving Dewanna Bonner to a gut-wrenching update on Caitlin Clark's injury, every word felt like a turning point. Add in the growing behind-the-scenes tension, and you've got a moment that could redefine the Fever's entire season.
Steph, did you have any parting message for Dewanna or anything? Like that you coached her before the season, obviously.
Yeah, I mean, first and foremost, obviously we're disappointed that things didn't work out. I love DB. I mean, DB is somebody that I have so much respect for. She's a Hall of Famer. And while I'm disappointed, I always, first and foremost, want her to be happy. And so I'm thankful for the time that we've had, and certainly, want her to be happy and wish her the best, and turning right now our focus to our team and what we can do to continue to get.
Oh, so now the big rumor flying around like a caffeinated bat is that Dewanna Bonner packed up her duffel and left the Fever because of Caitlin Clark. Really? That's the storyline now? That's the narrative we're running with? Please, somebody cue the laugh track, because that theory is straight up comedy gold. If that's the excuse, it's not just weak, it's ankle sprain level limping. Let's be real. Blaming your exit on a rookie is like quitting your job because the intern uses too many exclamation marks in emails.
That Caitlin Clark is out with a groin injury. Now, if you guys have been watching the Indiana Fever and Caitlin Clark play over the past 3 games, it is very clear that Caitlin Clark is not feeling like Caitlin Clark. She has only made 1 3-pointer in her last 3 games, and even just last game, she only had 6 points. But it wasn't only her performance on the court that was worrying fans, it was also just her demeanor, her energy. It felt like something was wrong. She wasn't hyping up the crowd like she normally does, and even in her pregame routine, she was doing some things differently. Some fans also noticed that she had her upper left leg taped during a couple of those games. So
it doesn't hold up, it doesn't make sense, and it definitely doesn't earn sympathy points. Bonner didn't walk, she bolted. Like the house was on fire and she just remembered she left her career on the stove. The way she dipped, you'd think Caitlin Clark had shown up with a boombox and bad intentions. But here's the plot twist nobody asked for. This wasn't Caitlin's fault. Caitlin Clark didn't waive Bonner.
Unfortunately, Caitlin Clark out yet again with a left groin injury. Caitlin Clark will be missing tonight's game versus the Los Angeles Sparks. The venue will be open. Out with a left groin injury. We go from a quad to a quad to a groin.
Caitlin Clark didn't draft strategy shuffle minutes or decide who gets locker room snacks. She was too busy rehabbing an injury and trying not to get trampled by the media circus that follows her everywhere like a Kardashian with a clipboard. So let's stop pretending this was some tragic tale of veteran versus rising star. This wasn't a Shakespearean conflict. This was one woman, Dewanna Bonner, making what can only be described as a top-tier, all-time Hall of Fame trash move, a tactical tantrum.
Groin injury, and how much of an absence do you expect from her beyond today?
Yeah, late last night. I think it's very much a day-to-day thing, how she responds to treatment. I stay in my lane and let our strength and conditioning and our physical, our AT staff do what they do best. But yeah, I found out late last night, and then we'll treat it day to day.
Back to back, a factor at all with that?
I mean, I don't know that it's a factor from a physical standpoint, from an athletic training standpoint. Certainly in my mind, it is. But at the same time, she's shown that she's tough and she's a quick healer. So we'll see. Was it something?
A melodramatic exit so transparent it could have been sold in the glassware aisle at Target. You don't just abandon a team mid-transition and expect a sympathy parade. What Bonner pulled wasn't leadership. It wasn't brave. It was the basketball equivalent of ghosting a group project because you didn't like who got picked as team captain. And now, we're supposed to pretend she left for some higher calling? Please, she quit. Period. She ducked out when the headlines stopped being about her. She bailed because she didn't like the spotlight moving 3 feet to the right. That's not noble, it's narcissistic. And let's talk about cowardice, because yes, we're going there. Not showing up when the going gets tough, that's not veteran wisdom. That's cowardice dressed in a team warm-up. It's the kind of decision that sticks forever. Years from now, no one's going to talk about her stat lines or her shooting percentage. They're going to talk about that moment. The moment she bailed, the moment she ghosted a franchise in need. That's the label now. That's the tattoo her legacy just picked up, and unfortunately for her, it's not going away.
This just occurred to me. Caitlin Clark clearly not looking like herself. The Indiana Fever has the game put away, yet we still put her back in the game at 45 seconds left. Caitlin Clark dealing with an injury, not looking like herself. The game is already out of hand, yet we still put her back in with 45 seconds left. How much patience do I need to have before I can start going nuclear? Because I am getting very frustrated with what I am seeing. To everybody that said Caitlin Clark didn't look like herself, salute to you. For everybody that said Caitlin Clark might be going through something, salute to you.
But hey, she cleared space. And sometimes subtraction is the loudest form of addition. You want to exit? Great. Don't let the logo hit you on the way out. Because in Bonner's place, the Fever just landed McDonald. That's right, a cray flavor with zero guilt, a guard with speed, grit, and the ability to actually show up, a player who isn't allergic to pressure, someone who doesn't flee when the locker room volume turns up. Let's get something straight. Ari McDonald didn't come to Indiana to sip tea and watch drama unfold. She came to run, hustle, grind, and make defenders wish they never laced up. She's got quick hands, a sharper edge, and absolutely no time for diva exits disguised as career moves. A personal security detail to protect her from the rising stardom of a 22-year-old rookie? The idea that Caitlin Clark was somehow the villain in this makes as much sense as blaming the weatherman for your broken umbrella. It's deflection, it's denial, it's delusion, gift wrapped in nostalgia.
I did not suspect Dewanna Bonner would be returning to the Indiana Fever. She has been out now for 6 games away from the team for only personal reasons, and the team was being really tight-lipped about it. They weren't giving any more information. But the whole thing, in my opinion, and in the opinion of a lot of fans, is that there was something else going on. This didn't seem like something where there was maybe something going on with her family. It didn't seem like she was sick or injured. She just simply stepped away from the team, and nobody really knew why.
And let's not overlook the exquisite irony here. Bonner, once a symbol of reliability, transformed overnight into a walking contradiction. The same player who preached team unity suddenly evaporated when the roster got real. When things got uncomfortable, she got inconvenient. The second the spotlight shifted, she demanded her own theater. But this isn't a one-woman show, and if it ever was, the curtain just dropped hard. It's like the fog lifted. They didn't lose a piece. They lost a distraction. And now, without the diva energy, clogging up the chemistry, they're starting to breathe. Sure, Clark's on the bench, but don't let the crutches fool you. Her presence still commands the room. She's still the future, she's still the engine, and despite what some revisionists are saying, her success doesn't require anyone else to disappear. Clark didn't push Bonner out. Bonner couldn't handle someone else shining brighter, and she tripped over her own ego on the way out.
Well, look, there's so many things that go into, and I'm talking about being happy personally. Like I want them to be happy personally. I mean, there's so many things that go into it. You know, it's a different group. While system might still be very similar, it's a different group, and you know, things are happening quickly, and being able to mesh. Sometimes it works and sometimes it doesn't. I think we've seen that in sports for a long time.
What's wild is how predictably messy this all became. You'd think someone with Bonner's resume would bow out with grace. A thank you note, a handshake, maybe a photo montage with soft piano music. Nope. She hit the eject button like it was a game of NBA 2K, and she rage quit in the third quarter. It wasn't graceful, it was graceless. It was theatrical in the worst way, like a soap opera villain storming off set because their evil plan didn't get enough screen time. And with McDonald in the mix, the energy has shifted in the best way. Less drama, more hustle. Less noise, more results. So while Bonner's PR team scrambles to spin this mess into something resembling nobility, the Fever are out there actually doing the work. Practice, strategy, chemistry, the stuff real teams focus on. And somewhere in the background, Caitlin Clark's laughing under her breath because once again, the world's trying to make her the villain in someone else's movie. Too bad that movie's already flopped.
All right, so as y'all can see, man, the Indiana Fever ended up announcing the status report for tonight's game versus Los Angeles. Caitlin Clark out left groin. Oh, man. Look, that groin is nothing to play with, man. If y'all didn't see how Anthony Davis was taken out this season, well, I guess last season, or whatever the case may be, it just appears out of nowhere, all right? The groin is nothing to play with, man. And, you know, it kind of explains a little bit more why her shot's been off. We can see that she's not 100%. Of course, with the sniffing and, you know, it look like she's out of breath at times. Those things where it just kind of look a little off, right? It don't look like Caitlin Clark.
That's a plus for the Fever. Let's just get that straight. Dewanna Bonner leaving isn't a tragedy, it's a liberation. If we're being brutally honest, it was long overdue. She's had a good run, a long one, sure, but even sequels stop making sense after the 5th one. It's time to retire, Dewanna. Find a cozy chair, put your feet up, and let the new era begin without dragging your emotional baggage through the locker room like a wheelless suitcase at the airport. You know that feeling when someone finally turns off the leaf blower outside your window? Yeah, that. The tension, the posturing, the I'm too veteran for this energy, poof, gone. Now they can focus on building something real, not just propping up a storyline that's been running on fumes. And while we're on the subject of convenient narratives, can we talk about how willingly people swallow the official explanations being fed to them? Like, do people even chew anymore, or do they just gulp it all down like it's free popcorn on game night? Caitlin Clark is injured, right? Sure, maybe she is, maybe she's not. Maybe she's healing, maybe she's chilling.
So lads, Caitlin Clark is out injured right now, and it appears that we know, well, she's out injured with a groin injury, and it appears there is footage of how it happened. And this one's on the coach. This one seems to be on the coach, but at the end of the day, I do think when it comes to this that it's not like there was nothing beforehand. It's not like she was 100% healthy. Because she seems to have been injured for a while.
But why is it that the people signing the paychecks are the only ones allowed to speak on it? Would it be so hard for Caitlin to just tell the fans directly? A quick update? A post-game tweet that doesn't sound like it was drafted by a lawyer on decaf? The girl's got a phone, a voice, and more followers than some small countries. She could clarify things in under 10 seconds between Gatorade sips. But no, we get the standard official team statement, and suddenly the masses are nodding along like bobbleheads at a merchandise convention. And fans, bless their loyal jersey-wearing hearts, deserve better. These are people shelling out real money, the kind that doesn't grow on the trees outside Bankers Life Fieldhouse. They want to see Caitlin Clark on the court, not on the injury report. And when they don't, they deserve more than a corporate shrug and a vague line about recovery. Let's be honest. If Beyoncé canceled a show and just said not feeling it, people would be in a frenzy. But when it's a top-tier WNBA rookie sitting out with mystery injuries, everyone suddenly becomes a medical privacy advocate.
The Fever made a move. They decided, why wait? We're not going to trade her. We're going to cut her. Now, I have to ask the other question. Is there something else coming after this? There has got to be something else coming after this. It cannot just simply be that you cut Dewanna Bonner and you re-signed Ari McDonald. It's funny how I don't know that any of us could have projected a few weeks back that Dewanna Bonner would be released.
Here's the thing. When you buy a ticket, you're not just buying a seat. You're buying a promise, a show, an experience. And when the headliner is missing without real answers, that promise feels like it's been stuffed into a shredder. Do ticket holders get a refund for the full value when Caitlin sits out? Of course not. You still get to enjoy your watered-down soda, overpriced pretzel, and the halftime dance team's best attempt to distract from the glaring absence on the court. Meanwhile, team reps are out here doing linguistic gymnastics, spinning injury updates so vague they sound like weather forecasts. She may return soon, but we're monitoring progress closely. Wow, that's helpful. Translation: we have no idea what's going on, but please keep spending money. And let's not pretend the Fever didn't know this was coming. There's always more behind the scenes. Always. This isn't just a rookie nursing a sprain. This is a business decision wrapped in bubble wrap and protected by PR armor. Maybe they're preserving her for the long haul. Maybe they're shielding her from the circus. Or maybe, just maybe, they're using the injury label like a security blanket, hoping people stop asking questions before someone tells the truth.
There's a lot of things going on, a lot of things pointing to the fact that something wasn't right. And I have to be totally honest with you guys, I'm not surprised by this news at all. I was just having a conversation with my fiance last night and I told him, I was like, I think Caitlin's hurt. I'm not going to be surprised if sometime soon the Indiana Fever pulls her and sits her for a few games. I think she is still battling some sort of injury. And less than 12 hours later, the news dropped from the Fever. But it's a tough blow not only to Caitlin because we know that she loves to be on the court. It's a tough blow for the Indiana Fever because that is their superstar. Whether she is playing to the best of her abilities or not, they are still a better team with her on the court.
Because make no mistake, the whole Clark situation has layers. It's not just about a twisted ankle or bruised ego. It's about image, control, and the billion-dollar buzz that follows her like a very clingy paparazzi. She is not just a player. She's a brand. A walking headline. Every minute she plays is monetized 6 ways before the final buzzer. And when she doesn't play, the silence is deafening, suspicious even. So when fans start asking why she's not speaking for herself, they're not being nosy, they're being sane. It's weird, it's calculated. It's like watching a magician wave one hand while the other one is doing something you're not supposed to see. You don't have to be a conspiracy theorist to smell the smoke here. And you better believe the Fever are counting on people being distracted. They love the drama of Bonner's exit because while everyone's arguing about veteran loyalty and locker room politics, no one's asking the really uncomfortable questions. Like, how serious is Clark's injury really? Why hasn't she said anything herself? What's the actual plan? And most importantly, who exactly is making these calls behind the curtain? It's convenient, isn't it? Bonner storms out, fans go ballistic, and meanwhile, Clark quietly vanishes into rehab mode with no real follow-up. It's like a perfectly choreographed chaos. Distract, deflect, delay.
Caitlin Clark, WNBA superstar, just returned from a left quad strain. We said be closer to a month. We said definitely longer than the 2 weeks the team initially said. Closer to 3 weeks. Congratulations, she made it back early. But now comes another injury on top of the left quad strain. It's a left groin strain in the last few seconds of the game on Tuesday, 2 days ago. They're saying it's day-to-day. Groin strains, especially for basketball players, are rarely day-to-day. It would be a good outcome if she returned in a week to 2 weeks. Day-to-day does not seem...
Rinse and repeat. That's the dance routine now. But the fans deserve better choreography, because right now they're dancing in the dark, spinning in circles with zero rhythm and even less direction. And unless someone breaks the silence with actual transparency, that frustration is only going to build. Nobody likes being strung along. Nobody likes feeling like the truth has been tucked behind a velvet curtain with a do not disturb sign on it. So yes, Bonner leaving is a win. It unclogs the rotation, it clears the air, and it gives young talent a chance to thrive. But pretending Caitlin's absence is just a harmless footnote? That's the real insult. Fans showed up for the show. The team needs to deliver, or at least explain why it can't, without the sugar-coated silence. Because eventually the curtain will lift. The truth always gets tired of hiding. And when it does, here's hoping the Fever still have enough fans left in the seats to hear it.